If you want to see the world's biggest sporting events in person, you usually have to prepare for an absolute scramble. Fans know that securing a seat means fighting through digital queues and hoping for a bit of luck. This bar chart shows exactly how extreme the barrier to entry has become. While a nosebleed ticket to a standard American live event like the Super Bowl might run you close to $1,000, a group stage match at the 2026 World Cup can cost $2,900. If you want to see a semifinal in Dallas, that price can jump to $11,000. Those numbers break completely from the historical norm. Even in Qatar, one of the wealthiest nations on Earth, the cheapest tickets for group games at the last World Cup were set at a flat rate of $11. The entire legacy of this tournament is built on accessibility. Football relies on a deeply working-class root system. After all you technically need to play the game is a ball and an open patch of ground. FIFA, the governing body running the tournament, is officially registered as a non-profit organization, yet they are explicitly using these matches to project a massive $13 billion revenue cycle. So how exactly do they justify extracting that much cash from the fans? FIFA has essentially benchmarked the World Cup against high-end spectacles like the Super Bowl. By adopting the pricing models of elite American sports, they are shifting the tournament's focus away from the general public and toward a more affluent, celebrity-driven audience. Sports economists refer to the driving force behind these costs as the American effect. Because the U.S. economic system allows the free market to dictate terms, highly sought-after live events naturally command aggressive pricing. FIFA is leaning into this by utilizing a system they call variable pricing. Instead of setting a fixed rate, they manually adjust and increase costs between successive sales phases, creating a feeling of artificial scarcity that pressures fans to buy immediately. This makes it nearly impossible for international travelers to plan. If you're trying to budget for international flights, hotels, and train tickets, a sudden, unpredictable spike in stadium admission can completely price you out of the trip before it even begins. This flowchart illustrates how FIFA extracts wealth even after the initial sale. For the very first time, the organization has created its own secondary platform. Instead of letting companies like StubHub handle resales, FIFA is acting as the facilitator. When a fan buys a resale ticket, FIFA executes a double dip. They collect a 15% commission from the person selling the ticket and an additional 15% commission from the person buying it. They take a cut from both ends of the exact same transaction. This aggressive secondary market extraction is currently legal under United States law, where ticket resales above face value remain almost entirely unregulated. FIFA's adoption of this model coincides with these American legislative gaps. By operating as both the primary seller and the secondary platform in an unregulated market, they ensure that a significant portion of the fans' desperation is converted directly into organization revenue. To understand why a nonprofit needs $13 billion, we have to track where that windfall actually goes inside the organization. This pie chart breaks down FIFA's projected budget for the next 4 years. After covering administrative costs and competition expenses, there is a remaining $2.7 billion set aside as what FIFA calls development funds. The problem is that these local associations frequently misplace the money. In the Republic of the Congo, a former association president was sentenced for embezzling over $1 million in funds. In the Maldives, an official was convicted of misusing COVID relief money. The cash is highly vulnerable once it leaves the central hub. Because every single member association gets exactly one vote in FIFA elections, current President Gianni Infantino leverages these funds to build loyalty among the smaller, less affluent nations. A decade ago, Infantino won his presidency by promising to pay out roughly $5 million per member. He then bumped that number to $6 million. After his second re-election, he raised it to $8 million. He maintains his political support by promising ever-increasing payouts. While broadcasting rights remain FIFA's largest income source, the record-breaking revenue from this U.S. ticket cycle helps fund the organization's massive windfall. It provides the surplus capital Infantino needs to fulfill his promises of larger payouts to the voting members who keep him in power. Focusing stadiums on high-net-worth attendees strips away the exact thing that makes live sports appealing in the first place. The magic of the tournament has always come from the traveling, lifelong supporters who save up for years to attend. They bring a chaotic, pulsating atmosphere into the stands that you simply cannot manufacture. By pricing out these specific, dedicated demographics, the event loses its identity. The stadium becomes culturally sterile, and this corporate playbook is already being copied. The 2028 Los Angeles Olympics are currently attaching massive 24% service fees onto their tickets, vastly higher than the 1.5% fee fans saw at the recent Paris Games. If this trend goes unchecked, the United States will cement its reputation as a uniquely hostile environment for global sports, where maximum corporate revenue eclipses cultural value. Fortunately, this kind of monopolistic behavior is not an inevitable law of nature. In many European countries, consumer protection laws strictly ban reselling tickets at a profit. By legally capping the secondary market, they completely neutralize the threat of ticket touts and price gouging bots. We saw this work recently in Ontario, Canada. A new April bill ensures fans won't pay over face value on the secondhand market. FIFA was immediately forced to remove its marked-up resale tickets for all Toronto matches to comply with the legislation. That rapid, effective international regulation sits in stark contrast to the total inaction from American lawmakers. By refusing to intervene, the U.S. government allows dynamic pricing and controlled secondary markets to operate with absolute freedom. The 2026 World Cup demonstrates that without basic consumer protections, global organizations will adopt the most aggressive pricing models the market allows. Until U.S. lawmakers follow the lead of Ontario or the EU, the American public remains a primary target for these extraction tactics.